Hi everyone, let's have a seat. We're going to get started. Everybody's got their pop and water and we're ready to go. So today we're going to talk about professional learning communities, or PLC, which is often the term that you're going to hear. Please raise your hand or give me a thumbs up if you have any prior knowledge on the topic of professional learning communities. Awesome, it looks like some of us do. So on our next slide here, I'm sharing with you the definition of PLCs that I found on the website, All Things PLC. Great resource for us to be able to access as we go through this information. According to All Things PLC, a professional learning community is an ongoing process in which educators work collaboratively in reoccurring cycles of collective inquiry and action research to achieve better results for the students they serve. Professional learning communities operate under the assumption that the key to improved learning for students is continuous job-embedded learning for us as educators. Okay, housekeeping before we move on any further for the next ideas. I did share this Google Doc out with everybody, so you should be able to add notes at the bottom of each Google slide if you have notes that you want to remember or questions that you'd like to ask as we move through this process. This slide is going to talk about the three big ideas behind professional learning communities, or PLCs. Number one, the first one here, is focus on learning, because the fundamental purpose of our school or any school is to ensure high levels of learning for all students. As we continue through this process, we'll focus more on the focus on learning idea that will also develop into the 4 critical questions we will discuss later on this afternoon. The second big idea behind PLCs is build a collaborative culture, which means that no school can help all students achieve at high levels if teachers are working in isolation. The third idea is to focus on results, which means that all of our programs, our policies, and our practices are frequently evaluated on the basis of their impact on student learning. As you can see, the 3 big ideas right here of a PLC all relate and focus on high levels of student learning. On our next slide here, we're going to share the 6 characteristics of a PLC, or in a professional learning community. I wanted to highlight these today because I feel like these characteristics are vital to the success and the development of our professional learning communities, as well as the development of our school's mission, vision, values, and goals. That's something that we're going to discuss in a little bit more in detail later on today, as well as down the road in some of our staff meetings. Through the development of our PLCs, the 6 characteristics that are listed here will help us share a common mission, collaborate with our teams with the focus on learning, continually want to improve and enhance our students' learning through questioning, trying new methods, and never settling for it's just okay. We also want to have students learn by doing. We want to push ourselves and our students to want to improve. And finally, the results through our learning and evaluating need to improve or need to be enhanced. We will work as a professional learning community together to do that based on the results, not just a hunch that we might have. I think it's important to remember learning is our purpose, not just teaching, but learning. Anyone can come in and teach, but us great teachers, the great teachers that are within this building, help students learn every day. In this next slide, I'm going to talk about the 4 critical questions for professional learning communities. And instead of me continuing to talk, I'd like to share with you a short video clip where Rebecca DeFore, author and co-founder of the philosophy behind the PLCs, is going to talk about that. So I'd like you to listen to her while she explains in this short 3-minute clip.
The 4 critical questions of learning, not teaching but learning, and they're these. If we want every child to learn at high levels, then those of us who serve those children have to be crystal clear on the answer to learn what? What are the most essential skills and concepts and dispositions, character traits, work ethic, 21st century skills that we know our students must acquire in order to be successful this year and as we send them on to the next level? So what is it that we want our students to learn? We have to get clear on that across our team and then have a scope and sequence within our schools and school districts. So we don't leave it up to every teacher to decide what will I teach, when will I teach it, how much time will I spend teaching it, but teams come together and they clarify exactly what must our students learn, what should they know and be able to do. That question, all of these questions apply to every educator. Doesn't matter what level, pre-K, all the way up through higher ed, we would contend, and it doesn't matter what content you teach. Art, music, PE, technical course, language arts, math, doesn't matter. These questions are what educators embrace that drive our focus on learning. The second question, once we've decided what we want our students to know and be able to do, how will we know if they're actually learning that? We have to have systems to monitor each student's learning on a timely basis. And no matter how well we teach it the first time, would you agree? Almost every time we teach a new lesson or a new unit, won't there always be some students who don't learn it the first time? Absolutely. So then the next question just naturally evolves. What will we do in response to those students who didn't learn it the first time? What will we do to give those students extra time and extra support as a team and as a school system so that they can learn those things that are most essential? And what about the kids that did learn it, or they already knew it before we taught it? What are we doing to extend and enrich and deepen the learning for every single student entrusted to us? These are the questions that drive the work of educators who are committed to that mission of learning for all and to the PLC process.
Thank you. I just thought, who better than to hear from one of the people that has really spearheaded the professional learning communities and the philosophies behind it, and as she can talk about those questions and the success and how these questions will drive our learning communities better than I can. So thank you for taking time to listen to that short video. Before I end today, I also want to touch briefly just on the highlights here of why I think these professional learning communities, when we unpack these and start doing these on a consistent basis, are going to be important for our school district. All teachers' strengths are going to be shared when we are working together as a team, not just some teachers. Our quiet leaders are going to have their strengths shared as well. Teachers will try new things in their classrooms to improve student learning because they're going to hear that those things that they weren't sure about are working for somebody else, and exactly how to do that. And so we're going to work collaboratively to try those things. There'll be positive impact on our school culture and our structures because we're all going to be working towards the same common goals. Students' learning will greatly benefit because that's the focus of professional learning communities. Student learning. And teachers will no longer work in isolation, so we're not going to just stay in our classroom and worry about what we're doing. We're going to work together and worry about students in general and overall in our building. And all students will achieve and succeed. And again, that goes back to all students are going to learn, and if we're having trouble with that, then we're going to make sure that we're doing things together as a professional learning community to come down here and make sure that they succeed. As I said, before we end today, I want to talk quickly about the steps that we're going to take to create and revise and update our mission, vision, values, and goal statements as a building. The philosophy behind professional learning communities will drive our development of our mission, vision, values, and goal statements. So as a staff, all voices will be heard. We'll work together with direction and purpose to answer the questions listed behind me here. Not only do we need to answer why do we exist and what do we hope to become as a collective group of educators within our school, but how are we going to model our values, and what are our steps that we need to take. So to break it down a little bit more, and as I said, we'll continue to unpack this as we go along with our professional development and staff meetings. And step one is going to be define our purpose within our community. What is our job? Step two will be what do we want to become, and define our actions of how we're going to do that. Step three will be the steps we need to take towards meeting those goals that we talked about. We will move through this process of developing our mission, vision, values, and goals by meeting on a regular basis in small groups and communities, and then we're going to share out to our whole professional learning community to ensure that everyone is on the right page and moving forward. I want everyone to understand that we are all working towards the same results, but I want to give you a choice in how you reach those goals, with the understanding that there'll be goals that we'll be working towards as you're going out and working in different ways to reach those goals as different learning communities, and then coming back together and collaborating. So for today, we're done. Thank you very much. Next week, we'll meet at same time, same place, and continue to talk about our mission, vision, values, and goals. Thank you.